Welcome to Blackwater Tech. In this video I'm going to show you how to service the banjo for the ADV, as well as how to replace the membrane and just clean inside the ADV there. So you should be able to remove this, push down with the palm of your hand, or you need a large pair of circlip pliers, and we can just rotate the cover off like so. You can wash this in soapy water, make sure it's nice and clean. You see there you got some bits of dirt in there. We have a retaining washer, and then we have the ADV diaphragm. Okay, so if you look inside, what you can see is how it works. So obviously when you suck through the mouthpiece, you create a vacuum. The ADV diaphragm goes down, pushes this lever, and it lifts that little pin there that allows gas into the loop. So to access that, we use a 5mm Allen key. It's going to take the banjo off, so you can check my other video on how to service the banjos, but this one you have to be careful because there is a spring in there. So you can put the spring, all these bits, in an ultrasonic cleaner. Just taking the O-ring off there. See, it's quite dirty. Take the spacer off and then just push through. Oh, we'll get that cleaned up, and then you probably remember from the other video how to do this. Remember not to put plastic or rubber in the ultrasonic, so I'll wash those in warm soapy water, change them as necessary. All these O-rings are in the JJ service kit. You can see it's quite dirty there. Alright. Okay, so if you look in here, what we've got is the ADV star pin. So I'm just going to drop that out. This can get some salt water build up, and then on the pin here. Now if there's any bits on the underside here like that, that can affect the seal. So if it affects the seal, you're going to get diluent leaking into the loop. Your PO2 is going to drop, your loop volume is going to be all over the place. So it's very important that you clean this from time to time. Now you're not shown how to do this during the Mod 1 course, but it's a good idea if you do know how to do it, because a leaky ADV causes all sorts of problems. So I'm going to get that cleaned up. Okay. Now if you look down there, what you'll see, hopefully you can see that, is there's an O-ring. So the underside of that star pin sits flat on that O-ring, and the spring keeps the tension on it so that it remains closed, and gas only comes in when you suck and break the seal with that lever. Okay, so you want to make sure that's super clean. The tiniest piece of swarf, a hair, anything can cause this to leak, and I've had it before where I've done exactly this. You think you've got it clean and it's still doing it. As you can see, there's a helicoil in there. Okay, you might want to use compressed air just to blow out any particles, but that looks pretty clean to me. Okay, so I'm just going to go off for a couple of minutes, get the banjo, the pin, the spring, everything cleaned, and then we'll put it all back together. So I've cleaned up the banjo, thought I'd save a bit of time on the video. If you can't remember how to do it, just check out my banjo servicing video. And I've cleaned the components for the ADV membrane, cleaned the pin here and the spring. Alright, so what we need to do is to drop this pin down into the hole there so it sits on the O-ring. However, we must be careful. What we want is so that when the pin goes through, it sits in this groove coming from the other way. So if you put it in with the lever down like so, the pin will actually be underneath. So what you need to do is to hold that up like so and keep your hand on it. So then you can drop in like that. Then we're going to put the spring on top and then the banjo. So notice I'm keeping my finger on the lever, ADV lever, the whole time. Once again, remember it's a header coil, so you don't want to over tighten it, and you should take these off every so often, otherwise if it's too long they'll fuse together. Okay, so remember my trick with tension, thumb and forefinger, it's as stiff as it needs to be. That's spinning nicely. Now if you look on this side, what you can see is the pin sits nicely in that groove. Okay, so now maybe you need a new membrane, but this one's just been cleaned up. Clean around in here a bit. Okay. Okay. First goes the ADV membrane. You can buy these as additional spares. Then goes the spacer. Now make sure it's all the way down, so just push in like so. Then take the cover. Yeah, tightened up all the way. There you go, done. Okay, thanks for watching. Hope you liked the video, found it useful. Any problems, just give me a shout.